All right, today we are going to talk about a department that, let's be honest, everyone thinks they know: human resources. But what if I told you that old stereotype of paperwork and policies is just completely wrong? We're going to look at how HR went from being a back office chore to a core, critical driver of success for the biggest companies in the world. Come on, be honest with me. When you hear those two letters, HR, where does your mind go? I bet it's straight to filling out forms, right? Or maybe agonizing over benefits packages. Or, having one of those difficult conversations. It's a super common stereotype that HR is the department of no, the place where all the fun ideas go to, well. And for a long, long time, in a lot of places, that wasn't actually too far from the truth. And this gap between perception and reality is a classic HR oops. Just look at this recent survey. It found that while most managers swore that improving the employee experience was a top priority, their own employees, they completely disagreed. It's exactly this gap, the space between good intentions and what actually happens, that modern HR is designed to fix. So let's actually track this evolution, because it's a fascinating story. The journey from that old administrative view of HR to its modern role as a strategic partner, it's not just a new job title, it's a completely different mission. Here's the whole shift in a nutshell. The old view? It saw HR as a necessary expense, a cost center, something you just had to have. But the new view, the one that drives today's most successful companies, sees HR as a source of competitive advantage. And the reason why is so simple it's almost genius. HR manages the single most important asset any company has. It's people. And that brings us to this really big idea: human capital. Once you get your head around this concept, you'll see exactly why people are a company's ultimate, unbeatable advantage. So what in the world is human capital? Well, it's not just your headcount. It's the total collective value of everyone in the organization. All their training, their experience, their judgment, their insights. You can think of it as the combined brain power and creativity that you can't put on a balance sheet, but it's worth way more than any building or machine. And this is why human capital is such a game changer. It has these 4 key qualities that make it so powerful. First, it's valuable. Your people do the critical work. Second, it's rare. Finding people with high-level skills is really, really hard. Third, and this is crucial, it cannot be imitated. You can't just copy and paste a great company culture. And finally, there are no good substitutes. You just can't easily replace the unique talents of your people. Okay, so if people are the key, how does a company actually go about building a winning team? Well, that's where we get into the strategic HR playbook, the specific moves and practices that turn these big ideas into real-world action. I want you to think of strategic HR like a master blueprint for a championship team. It creates a direct line of sight from specific HR practices like recruiting and training, all the way to how the company performs. These aren't just separate random tasks. No way! They're all part of an interconnected system that's designed for one thing and one thing only: to win. Let's just zoom in on a couple of these to see what I mean. Take training and development. That's not just some boring one-day workshop anymore. It's about actively building the skills your company will need 3, 5, even 10 years from now. Or look at compensation. It's not just about cutting a paycheck. It's about designing systems that actually motivate people and reward the exact behaviors that push the business forward. Every single one of these is a strategic lever. And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. As the HR leader Laura Morgenthaler puts it, this field is absolutely full of meaty, analytical, substantial challenges. Her words just nail it, don't they? This is a role with proactive, thoughtful impact, a million miles away from that old paperwork stereotype. So, if the function of HR has changed this much, it only makes sense that the people doing the work have to change too, right? So, let's look at what it actually takes to be a modern HR pro. What are the skills you need to succeed? Yeah, you can go ahead and throw out that old image of just an administrator. The modern HR professional has to be a jack of all trades, and honestly, a master of a whole lot of them. To be successful, you need this really complex blend of skills that covers business strategy, data analysis, and, of course, human interaction. And if we break down those skills, the picture gets even crazier. Look at this. Only about 15% of the essential competencies are what you'd call technical HR skills. A massive 45% are interpersonal skills, like communication and relationship building. And get this, another huge chunk, 40%, is pure business skill. That pretty much proves it. To be great at HR today, you have to be great at business first. This means that things like business acumen, really understanding how the business makes money, are just as critical as knowing labor law. And analytical aptitude, being able to use data to make smart decisions, that's not a nice to have anymore, it's table stakes. Today's HR pros aren't just paper pushers, they're consultants and trusted advisors to the entire company. So, let's bring this all back home. Why does any of this matter to you, whether you work in HR or not? It's simple. Because a company that gets HR right is just a better place to work. It directly impacts your career path, the culture you live in every day, and yeah, your paycheck. And hey, if you're even thinking about a career in this field, it's not just about making an impact. It's also pretty rewarding financially. I mean, look at this chart. It shows a clear, lucrative career path. You might start out as an assistant making around $45,000, but specialized managers in areas like compensation can pull in salaries well over 6 figures. That growth in pay directly reflects the strategic value they're bringing to the table. So let's just reframe how we think about this. A career in HR isn't just some support function. It's a career right at the intersection of business strategy, people science, and organizational success. It's about building the most important, most valuable part of any company, its people. And that really brings us to the final crucial question, one that I want you to take with you. Think about your own workplace. Does your organization treat its people like a cost that needs to be managed, or does it see them as its greatest asset, something to be cultivated and grown? The answer to that question, well, it just might tell you everything you need to know about its future and yours.